One of my biggest fears is either myself or someone I love going missing, vanishing into thin air, leaving behind no clues besides a grainy image on security footage. That's exactly what happened to Lauren Spierer in 2011. She disappeared after a night out drinking with friends. At the same bar, another girl would go missing from a few years later. That girl would eventually be found dead, but Lauren? Nothing has ever been found. Zero evidence. This is a story about a girl who literally disappeared in plain sight, and it's unsettling to think that this could happen to any of us at any given moment. So let's talk about it. Lauren Spierer was 20 years old when she mysteriously disappeared on June 3rd, 2011 in Bloomington, Indiana. She was a student at Indiana University. A few years before she went missing, Lauren attended a summer camp where she met her current boyfriend named Jesse, and she also met a few of her really good friends that would later attend Indiana University as well. One of those good friends was a man named Jay, and they all kind of hung out together. Lauren seemed to be living a really good life until one summer evening when everything would change. It was the evening of June 3rd. Lauren and a bunch of her friends were out drinking at Kilroy's sports bar. Jesse didn't go out with her that night, but the two did text each other a lot up until he went to bed. Lauren left the bar at around 2:30 that morning, leaving behind her shoes and phone. After this, she was seen on security footage a handful of times up until she disappeared. She was last seen at 4:30 that morning walking south on College Avenue back to her apartment, which wasn't that far away. But somehow along the way, she vanished, never making it home, and she was never seen on security footage again. The next morning, Jesse tried texting her, and he did get a response back, but it wasn't from Lauren. It was an employee at the bar who told him that she had left her belongings there. Not long after this, he reported Lauren missing to the Bloomington police. Because she seemingly vanished into thin air, and knowing she was out drinking the night before, authorities immediately began a massive search for Lauren. A few different agencies were involved as well as the FBI, and they conducted 3 searches a day, scouring the town for any places she might be. This included near her apartment and where she was last known to be, as well as construction sites and any nearby bodies of water. But the only thing ever found was her purse and keys in an alley that she walked through right before she went missing. This led authorities to comb through any and all security footage from the night she went missing, and from this they were able to piece together a timeline of her last movements. So they went back in time to the night of June 3rd, 2011. At around 12:30 a.m., Lauren left her apartment at the Smallwood Plaza apartment complex with her friend David. Together they walked to Lauren's friend Jay's apartment, which wasn't very far away. There they hung out with him and his neighbor named Corey up until 1:46 a.m., where they're seen on security footage entering Kilroy's bar. 30 minutes go by and then they are seen leaving, and at this point it's clear that Lauren is very intoxicated. She somehow left the bar without her shoes or her phone, which is worrisome. After this, Corey and Lauren are seen entering her apartment complex at around 2:30 that morning. They are both pretty intoxicated here, stumbling around, so much so that Lauren actually fell and hit her head a couple of times throughout the night, and someone else who happened to walk by Lauren in her complex that night even noticed how out of it she was, and he even asked her if she was okay, which she said yes. 15 minutes later, Lauren leaves her apartment and is seen walking through an alley that sits between College Avenue and Morton Street, and then coming out the other side. This wasn't an unfamiliar place to her, as it led directly to her friend Jay's and Corey's apartment, and she walked through that alley a lot. But what's strange though is that as she walked into the alley, she had her purse and keys with her, but as she came out, she didn't. They were eventually found in this same alley, and I think this goes to show how intoxicated she was that night, as she didn't even realize that she dropped them in the alley. Lauren finally arrived at Corey's apartment, where his roommate Michael was also home. Corey then begins throwing up, so Michael reportedly helped him get to bed while Lauren waited downstairs. According to Michael, Lauren wanted to continue drinking or even go out and party some more, but because of how intoxicated she was, he asked her to just sober up and stay the night for her own safety. He especially didn't want her walking home alone, not in this state. This is when 3:30 in the morning hits, and at this point, Michael just wanted to go to bed. So he called his neighbor and Lauren's friend, Jay, to come and get her and take care of her. When she went to Jay's apartment, he noticed a big bruise under her eye, but she just kept saying she didn't know how she got it. Some speculate that it was because she fell a few times that night and possibly hit her eye, but that has never been officially proven. Jay said that Lauren then made 2 calls from his phone, both to 2 separate friends who did not answer, and she never left a message either. The last time Lauren was ever seen was when she left Jay's apartment at 4:30 a.m. According to him, he watched her walk away heading south on College Avenue from 11th Street, presumably on her way back to her apartment, but she never made it home, and she was never seen alive again. This footage gave authorities at least a timeline of her last movements, but there were still so many questions. So they started questioning her friends that she was with that night, and all of their stories kind of differed, and some even changed a bit. Jay said that that when she left, he went upstairs to watch her and make sure she was okay. And as she rounded the corner, he said he saw a shadowy figure next to Lauren, like really close to her. But he didn't think anything of it at the time. So police started reviewing security footage from nearby businesses and found that this white pickup truck had circled the area 2 times the night Lauren disappeared. They don't know for sure who it belonged to, as it was a really grainy image, or if it was even connected to this case, but they released it to the public anyway. Then some people online said that it looked as if someone was riding in the bed of the truck, although the image is so grainy that I feel like it's hard to tell. They were hoping that this footage would provide some leads, but it didn't, and no trace of Lauren was found, which left investigators stumped. Over the next few months, authorities continued to follow up on leads, and one of those leads led them to search the Sycamore Ridge landfill in Pimento. I guess trash from Bloomington is taken here, so they searched through everything for 9 days, but still, they found nothing. There would be no movement in this case for 4 years, until another mystery took place in the very same bar Lauren last visited the night she went missing. On April 24th, 2015, 22-year-old Indiana University student Hannah Wilson went missing after leaving Kilroy's sports bar. She was last seen getting into a taxi in front of the bar, and after this, she disappeared. Her body was found the next morning in a desolate field in Brown County, and she had been bludgeoned to death. Laying next to her, though, police found a cell phone that did not belong to her, and when they tracked down who it belonged to, it led them to this man, Daniel Messel. Daniel was arrested and charged for Hannah's murder, and at first, police were investigating a possible link between this case and Lauren's. I mean, there were a lot of similarities. Both around the same age, went to the same school, and even went to the same bar before they went missing. But after a few months of investigating, police ruled out any connection between the two cases, saying they are unrelated despite the similarities. Then a year later, a tip led the FBI to search a property in Martinsville, which is about 20 miles north of Bloomington. This property was connected to a local man named Justin Wagers, and he lived there with his mom and stepdad. Justin was known to expose himself to women and was overall just a creep. So when tips came in suggesting to look there, the FBI did. They brought in cadaver dogs, which did find some potential evidence. So they dug up the area where the dogs hit, but just like before, they found nothing. What's interesting though is that Justin had a white pickup truck, just like the one seen in the security footage from the night Lauren went missing. They did tow it away and check for any potential DNA, but I'm assuming they found nothing because I can't find any definitive answers online. So once again, we are back at square one. Zero evidence of anything despite so many tips and leads. And although we still don't know what happened to Lauren that night, there are a few theories. Theory number one is that Lauren overdosed that night, either accidentally by her own doing or by someone drugging her. Her parents believe that she could have possibly been drugged at the bar that night based on her level of intoxication. They believe that she is likely dead, and although they don't want to accuse anyone, they feel that her male friends that were with her that night know more than they are letting on. According to the Spierer family, Jay, Corey, Michael, and even Lauren's boyfriend Jesse all lawyered up immediately after she disappeared and refused to take a polygraph test. According to all of their lawyers, they have taken and passed polygraph tests, just private ones since they don't trust the Bloomington police. And because there is no physical evidence tying them to her disappearance, they've never been named as suspects. It could be possible that she overdosed on accident by her own doing. Her friends and boyfriend all said she used drugs in addition to alcohol that night, specifically cocaine and crushed up Klonopin tablets. And this is dangerous all on its own. But what a lot of people didn't know was that Lauren had a rare heart condition called long QT syndrome. This condition affects the heart's ability to relax after a heartbeat, and it's not recommended to heavily drink or use drugs for those who have it. There were rumors about her getting kicked out of her summer camp for drug use, and after she disappeared, authorities did find a small amount of cocaine in her room. Adding to this theory is the fact that just 9 months before she disappeared, she was arrested on charges of public intoxication and illegal consumption. So some think that she may have overdosed in one of the apartments that night, and those with her disposed of her body to not get in trouble. But I feel like that's just unlikely because they're just college kids. It's not like the movies where you can make someone disappear so easily. I also feel like something would have been found by now or someone would have talked. Some think that it could be a possibility that she did leave the apartment that night, but because of how intoxicated she was, maybe she fell somewhere like in a construction zone and then just died before anyone ever found her. Again though, I just feel like something would have been found by now if that was the case. And lastly, theory number 2 was that she was abducted by a stranger and killed. And considering some of the evidence they found on the 2 men that I previously mentioned, I feel like that could be the case. Although there's no evidence of that, police are not ruling out foul play until there is something to go off of. It's just crazy to me that she was seen so many times on security footage that entire night, except for on her walk back home. Like, I just don't get where she could possibly be, and that is terrifying and one of my biggest fears. But it's now been 14 years, and whatever happened to Lauren that summer night remains a mystery.